It was around 2:20 p.m. when I had the leftover pasta that Mom made the other day. With a glass of whole milk. I didn't fill it all the way because there wasn't that much of the gallon left and I didn't want to use it all up. I saved the last bit to be left, which I drank following a trip to Wegmans around 3 p.m., in which we got, along with the usual chef salads and a garden salad, of which I had the leftover chef salad that Dad got for us to have for lunch at the Emerging Arts Expo. For us to have that for lunch on the first day. But instead we got food from the food court at the Cornhill Festival. I had that leftover large chef salad around 5:40 p.m. This was one of the last things we got during our trip to Wegmans. That we took around 3 p.m. This is a poke salad that was at the sushi section of the supermarket. This is a poke salad. I think it's called the sweet and sour tuna aki poke bowl. I specifically looked for the poke bowls with no rice because I want to try to adhere to a low carb diet. Since I've heard benefits of a keto diet. In particular from the movies Fathead and Fat Fiction. I have been thinking about giving it a try, even though at the time I had that leftover pasta just so it wouldn't be wasted. immediately afterward, I didn't take a picture of this, but I had some of the dill pickle Lay's chips that Mom got at Wegmans a while back for a 4th of July party. Just so essentially, in a sort of sense, it wouldn't be wasted. I don't think potato chips derive from potatoes. I don't think potatoes have a lot of carbs in them. They're not a carb, they're a starch, but still. Potato chips aren't exactly the healthiest thing to be having. Sometime between the afternoon, I got up today around 11:30 in the morning. So sometime between, I think it was after the trip to Wegmans, today's grocery shopping trip. I started a landscape styrofoam drawing using, I believe it was a block of styrofoam. It's not an ideal block of styrofoam to be turning into a drawing, but it's styrofoam nonetheless, and I think at least a secondary factor for me starting to draw in styrofoam was to find a use for styrofoam or polystyrene other than throwing it away in the landfill. So in a sort of sense, reusing stuff. This piece I started working on today, it's got one end that's uneven due to it kind of flaking off to an extent. I think that piece, it's most likely, it's got to be from packaging, part of packaging for something, because it had a depression. It's got a depression on the back. I think an important thing to realize if you want to advance within the creative realm is to make an effort to do different things. I've already done a portrait landscape styrofoam drawing, portrait being when the height of the drawing is greater than its width, so I decided to move it, to rotate it so that it would be a landscape styrofoam drawing. Or a drawing where the width is greater than the height. And I've already done sunny skies, so I figured instead I would use some of the shades of gray in my marker satchel to make an overcast sky. There was also a point today in which I considered starting a styrofoam drawing of a mime. You know, a person who does miming performance art in which they imply actions and gestures through movements of their body and facial expression without saying anything. The kind I imagine, typically how I imagine a mime is someone wearing mostly black and white clothes and having black and white makeup on their face. I looked up the Wikipedia article for mimes. I searched mime on Bing, and instead this acronym for something that I think was server related came up instead. From my recollection, in particular, mime in that case, when I searched it on Microsoft Bing, I got up results for mime as an acronym for multi-purpose internet mail extensions. I clicked that Wikipedia, the link to that Wikipedia article, and then on the top, right before the article, it said for mime as a performing art form, see mime artist. I clicked on that link, and that Wikipedia article didn't really give me a picture of someone with mostly white and black clothes and white and black makeup. Though I did get pictures of people with mostly white, with some black makeup, the black makeup being around the eyes and on the lips. Generally speaking, and it also had a picture of Charlie Chaplin in the movie A Dog's Life, which technically does count. And nothing was said. Though for silent films, they were only silent in that there were no dialogue. I learned through an Austin McConnell video that as you were watching a silent film, music would be performed to follow along with what was going on in the silent film. There was a point in the evening, according to my recollection, in which I went on the Discord server for Rapper Offline, and it seems they haven't been able to fix the issues created from the changes VoiceForge made to their API recently. I learned this from going on the Discord server. After I originally noticed that the designer Dave text-to-speech voice stopped working on Rapper Offline. I can get it through a combination. I can get it through using BlueStacks 5 to emulate the Android app for VoiceForge, but I fear using that new method makes the audio different from how it would be had I recorded it through Rapper Offline. So I'm hoping that the Rapper Offline Discord community will be able to find a fix soon. In the meantime, I'll probably first finish that new landscape styrofoam drawing. And then I'll probably do other things to work on the 99th Dan Hamming episode in the meantime. And there was also a point today, I believe it came during the early afternoon, between 1 and 2 p.m., in which I asked both my dad and my mom for the pictures they took during the Emerging Artists Expo so that I could include them in the UCut project files for those My Dinner videos corresponding to those 2 days of the Emerging Arts Expo of July 9th and 10th. Yeah. Though I'm only going to include some of those pictures because I don't want the photo part to be too repetitive. That effort I made is just to ensure more coverage of my booth at the expo at different angles, essentially.